Hello there, I'm glad you decided to join me on this small quest. I'm always on the lookout for new games to play, and a great way to do this is by checking out game demos. I did this a lot more back in the day, especially in the PlayStation days with the demo discs that would be included with the official Sony Playstation magazine. These were great ways to check out games you wanted to play in the future and get a feel of what to expect when playing the full game. I'm sure many of you watching will remember the legendary Sony Demo 1 disc and playing the demo for Wipeout on it. So I've decided today I'm going to take this idea and play some demos from Steam of games I've got on my wish list. Today we'll check out 3 demos, and at the end I'll let you know which one I'm looking forward to the most, so be sure to stay to the end. First up is a game I found out during Summer Games Fest 2024. Let's discuss Caravan SandWitch. Caravan SandWitch is a unique open-world adventure game that emphasizes exploration and narrative over combat. Players control Sage, who returns to her home planet Sigalo after receiving a distress signal from her sister Garance, who disappeared 6 years prior. The idea around the game intrigued me, as when you think open world game, you think of games where combat is the main focus. However, as said, the main focus here is exploration and narrative. The demo really shows this off as you make your way to the next town to meet some old friends and help them make an antenna to locate signal jammers. During your time helping with this mission, you are repairing relationships with those old friends. Let's talk about the narrative here. Everything is done with speech bubbles, so a lot of reading is involved here. The writing here is very well done, with each character feeling unique despite you not hearing a single bit of dialogue from them. So for example, you have the strong type in Saffron, the fatherly type in Oliver, and the young hopeful type in Yuka. 3 very distinct voices, even though you never hear them speak. In terms of the exploration, it was fun going around all the different types of terrain I got to explore. I got to run around the town as mentioned, a little bit of the mountains and wilderness, and even climb a tower for some scrap pieces. There's 2 types of exploration you can do here, and that's by foot or in your van. The team have managed to make the exploration types feel very different, with your on-foot exploration feeling light and responsive. However, the van exploration feels heavy and clunky. Very by design, as in the main game you upgrade the van over time, so I'm guessing by the end of the game the van will also feel very smooth to control. I honestly feel I've only scratched the surface here. The demo clocked in at around 45 minutes, and there were some things I didn't do during my playthrough. I checked on how long to beat, and the game clocks in at around 6 hours to beat. Also, the demo drops you in right after the game's intro is described when you start the demo. I did feel I got a good sense of what the full game has to offer, and I'm very intrigued on where this story will take you. Next up is a game I heard about on the YouTube channel New Frame Plus, which is a great YouTube channel about video game animation. Go check them out if you get the chance. I highly recommend their video about animation in Sonic games. Anyway, back to the task at hand. I heard about this game in their Best of 2023 video, and I was instantly grabbed by the sense of nostalgia it gave me. I'll explain that in a bit. Let's talk about The Many Pieces of Mr. Coo. The Many Pieces of Mr. Coo is a point-and-click adventure game that drops the player into a surreal, hand-drawn world filled with bizarre characters and inventive puzzles to solve. Now, I know you're wondering about the nostalgic feeling I got with the game. Well, games like this were very common in the 90s, with bizarre point-and-click games like Toonstruck, Day of the Tentacle, Grim Fandango, and many more. If you, like me, miss games like the ones I mentioned, then this is a must-play for sure. That feeling you would get where you had no idea where the game was going to go next, and this seems to have it in spades. In the demo alone, you have live action mixing with traditional 2D animation, and a puzzle involving a machine that resembles an arcade machine, and a monkey with a cane. What more could you ask for? Of course, another big aspect of the game that caught my eye was the 2D animation on display. It is a feast for the eyes, with a scratchy sketch style that you don't see that often these days, with a lot of animation being done digitally. The trailer you get at the end of the demo shows off more of the animation to come, and I can't wait to see more, as it just looks beautifully bizarre. The character of Mr. Q reminds me of a character from an Italian animated series called La Linea. I wonder if this served as an inspiration for Mr. Q. Gameplay wise, it's a point and click adventure where you move the mouse on the screen and click things to try and solve puzzles, or get to the next part of the story. If you played any games in this genre before, then you'll know what you're getting yourself into. You can actually play this game with a controller, which is what I did playing through the demo. However, I would recommend a mouse, as for some puzzles, you may need to press things within a certain time and you'll be quicker with a mouse. To be honest, I wish I could talk more about this, but the demo lasted about 10 minutes in total, really giving you a very, very brief glimpse in what the game has to offer. Once again, I checked how to beat and it said about 90 minutes is the average time to beat the game. Despite all of this, I am eagerly awaiting my full playthrough of the game. I feel this is going to be something special that I won't forget for a long time. Dare I say it? This could be a hidden gem? Our final demo to discuss today is one I've been very curious about, as it lends a lot to a game I've talked about previously on this channel called Coffee Talk. However, we're taking out the coffee shop and into a tavern in a fantasy world in Tavern Talk. Tavern Talk centers around the Wayfarer's Inn, where the player, as the innkeeper, engages with adventurers to uncover deeper lore about an emerging ancient threat in Asteria. Through these interactions, players gain insight into the world and its looming dangers. Now, I know the first thing you were going to ask about this one. Isn't this just a rip-off of Coffee Talk? Well, it has similarities, but also feels different enough to be its own thing. I'll discuss some of this during our discussion of the game. I've even had people saying, should they be allowed to call the game that, as it's too close to Coffee Talk? Well, Toge Productions, the creators of Coffee Talk, have given their blessings to Tavern Talk. They have posted about the game several times on their social media and encouraging people to check out the game, which in my opinion is really nice to see. So let's discuss the game itself. The gameplay here is visual novel style, with you chatting with the patrons of the Wayfarer's Inn. During these conversations, you'll learn more about the patrons and also about the quests and adventures they've been on. During my playthrough of the demo, I've only met 3 characters, which are Fable, Lynn, and one mysterious character who I'm sure will come back into the story later in the game. One of the things which makes the game feel different from Coffee Talk is by you having some choices in the way your conversations with patrons go, tying back to inspirations for the game, which includes tabletop games like Dungeons and Dragons. The other aspect to the gameplay is the drink mixing mechanics. Like Coffee Talk, your patrons will ask for a drink they would like, which may contain certain attributes like something with a lot of dexterity or charisma. Then you can consult your notebook for a recipe and then match the drink to the stats charts in your notebook. The drink you serve to the patron affects their stats and can affect their individual storylines, which I really appreciate. I mentioned this in my Coffee Talk review. When I would mess up a drink in Coffee Talk, they would say something like, "It's not right," or "It's not quite what I was looking for," and then seemingly continue as if nothing happened. At least here in Tavern Talk, you know the drink you make will affect things, and I'm hoping for a big decision in the game where the drink you make will affect a big moment. A final part of the gameplay which I want to quickly mention, and this is only quick because I didn't get a chance to delve into this much during my time with the demo. So, during your conversations with patrons, you will find out bits of useful information about monsters out in the world, and maybe some tidbits about their weaknesses. So, I found out about a werewolf causing havoc in the world, and also that werewolves love to play fetch. So I took this information and I made a quest for patrons to accept. This is a really interesting mechanic that I need to delve into more, and again, tying back to those inspirations like Dungeons and Dragons. To be honest, when I came into this, I was thinking I'll get another Coffee Talk, which I'm all for, as I loved Coffee Talk. However, this had many differences that made it feel distinct, and it made me really want to play more to see how these differing mechanics affect the full game. I'm hoping with Toge Productions giving their blessing, this will be another amazing experience like the one I got in Coffee Talk, so I'm looking forward to coming back to this one very soon. So there we have it, folks. That's 3 demos I checked out on Steam. And at the start of the video, I mentioned there was one I couldn't wait to come back to. Well, the game I'm most looking forward to is The Many Pieces of Mr. Coup. It's such a unique experience that also harkens back to the point-and-click days of the 90s that I can't ignore. So keep an eye on the channel as I'm going to be discussing the full game at some point. Heck, I might even do a live stream of my playthrough of it. So if you enjoyed this video today, or it gave you some ideas for games to check out next, then show me your thumbs by giving the video a thumbs up. Feel free to press subscribe and notification bell, that way you'll know when a new video hits the channel, or if I do that live stream I mentioned of Mr. Coup. What demos have you been checking out recently? Let us know in the comments. And if you want to find out about another game that's unique, check out the video on screen where we discuss the game Before Your Eyes, which has a very interesting gameplay mechanic. Click the video on screen to find out more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next quest.